Jim Harbaugh has been added to a suit alleging that he knew Matt Weiss had access to very sensitive and private information that eventually led to his federal indictment, and that there was something Harbaugh could do about it. Let's talk about what's in this suit and how seriously Michigan should take it. What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. If this is your first time watching Adapt and Respond, thank you for joining us here. We talk college football year round. If that is something you're into, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, like this video, and answer this question in the comments below. Are we missing the point here when we talk about Matt Weiss and just what it is that he is charged with doing? Or is it just a bigger Michigan story? Because that's kind of where I am on this. I also want to remind you, we've got an audio podcast on Apple and Spotify. And if you are willing to go to Apple and Spotify and leave us a 5-star review, I am willing to send you one of these stickers in the mail. Just copy and paste your review from Spotify and Apple into the form in the description below, and I will get that sent to you. We got nearly 400 ratings on Apple, nearly 100 ratings on Spotify. It's very exciting to do, right? So the reason I want to do this segment is because Jim Harbaugh's name being added to the suit feels just like that, right? The charge against Matt Weiss is Matt Weiss's, but an attorney filing this suit claimed that had Harbaugh implemented basic oversight of his staff, plaintiffs, and the class would have been protected against predators such as Weiss. Instead, Weiss was a highly compensated asset that was promoted by and within the football program, for which the position he was able to and did target female student athletes. The lawsuit says a staff member saw Weiss viewing private information at Schembechler Hall, headquartered for the football team around December 21, 2022, and reported it before Michigan played TCU in a playoff game days later on December 31st. Matt Weiss was fired a few weeks later, January 2023, during an investigation of his computer use. Again, it's a bigger deal because that's separate from football, right? And we've done this segment. I'm going to do it again. Two-factor authentication, lock down all of your stuff, but he should have never had access to this in the first place, and we know this. And once he got access to it, feds get involved, and now the University of Michigan's going, okay, so what do we do other than give the feds as much rope as they need while also trying to protect ourselves and our student athletes? And Jim Harbaugh being the head coach, it makes sense. Like, if this was a Fortune 500 company, I would expect the CEO to be added to a suit. 1, for name recognition, 2, to give it a little bit more gravity and weight, and 3, finally, so the people like myself would talk about it. But you're smart, right? That's why you watch this show. You understand what's going on here. You also understand Jim Harbaugh has not coached at Michigan since 2024. Matt Weiss has not coached at Michigan since January 2023. They won their national championship that year that he was fired, right? We're also dealing with a Michigan that is embroiled in a sign stealing scandal, is what I continue to call it, because that's what it is, guys. You electronically video the signs so you could decipher them later so you know what they are going into a game. We got NCAA bylaws against that. It's very clear that Michigan broke that rule, and we'll see what, if anything, the NCAA Infractions Committee comes up with as a punishment. But there are also other guys on that staff with Matt Weiss, right? Matt Weiss, who was a co-offensive coordinator, and eventually, only needed Sharon Moore to have that job. And even then, Sharon Moore could take a suspension for recruiting violations. Jim Harbaugh could take suspension for recruiting violations, and then later the sign stealing, and they still won the national championship. If Michigan fans feel irate about it, I get it, but it's really difficult to ignore Matt Weiss, who's worked for both John Harbaugh and Jim Harbaugh. And if there is something to uncover there, you have a duty to turn over that rock. I sincerely believe that if Jim Harbaugh knew something about this, he would have said something about it. I also think that in these sorts of instances, like Penn State with Joe Paterno, Baylor with Art Briles, the head coach eventually, inevitably, gets called in, right? And if he's still the head coach, he might not be the head coach for very much longer because the university just can't afford it anymore. Meanwhile, Jim Harbaugh went ahead and coached the Los Angeles Chargers, and they're having a good time. He's having a good time. He's recovering from some surgeries, and I'm sure that he wants the best for Michigan. He wants the best for the victims that been pursued by Matt Weiss. And he also would like to stay away from this. I think that I don't expect him to have much to say about it. I wouldn't expect you to have much to say about it. But we're going to do it because it's news, right? We don't need to stay here. But it also has me quite literally asking questions about Michigan. Like Santa Ono, for instance, was University of Michigan president. He thought he could go down to Florida and be president. It was not so. We are also talking about an institution that's got its first black athletic director and black head coach at the same time, which I think is remarkably cool, even as people want to point out that it's, one man and another man. I'm going, nah, it's cool for me, right? It's very cool for me. I want Sharon Moore to be okay. I want Ward Manuel to be okay. I also understand that the gravity of the situation around the sign stealing on the field and Connor Stallions, Matt Weiss, it's all a lot, right? And it's Michigan. Let's not pretend like it's not a very big university. And I call it a public school masquerading as a private school, but they have been one of the best at what they do since the 19th century, right? It's why we say Ohio State and Michigan, or we just say Michigan, right? Because you're talking about this run they had from 2021 to 2024 and how much of that we should include Connor Stallions and Matt Weiss. I think, yeah, they're part of the team at the time, but the 2023 team is the 2023 team. I'm also looking at this, and I asked this sincerely. If it were your kid, would you be concerned that Jim Harbaugh knew about this? I think you would, right? And I think you would want an explanation. There were over 2,000 college athletes and 1,300 students or alumni that Matt Weiss had access to from 2015 to 2023. And he wasn't, always on staff at Michigan. People point that out. Another part of this that Parker Steiner, who is the lead lawyer in this class action suit, is raising is the university delayed in taking meaningful protective action until a high-stakes game sends a clear message student welfare was secondary. I don't know about that, man. Again, attorneys being attorneys and saying what you need to get the media attention that you need for such a class action lawsuit. I get that part, but we're also embroiled in more than that. Like House versus NCAA is taking effect. Sacramento State is going another way by hiring Jeffrey Kessler, who was the lead attorney in the House versus NCAA because they want to play FBS football, and the NCAA is denying them the waiver to do that. We have the Pac-12 expanding to 8 teams in 2026, and most of those teams come from Mountain West, Sun Belt, and the old Pac-12. We've got so much crap to talk about in college football that it feels like in June we just can't wait for the season to get started. And that's where I'm at. But I did want to bring this up. I did want to talk with you about it, and I did want to give you as much information as we can get. It's a really good story in the AP that goes a little bit further in depth than I did here if you were so curious. But I'm not going to be alarmist about this. I am going to say keep your eye on the ball, right? What did Matt Weiss know? When did he know it? And what is the federal government prepared to do about it? And what are we seeing Michigan do about it? I think everybody is doing what they should right now, which is more than I can say for a lot that's going on here across the country. But again, I just wanted to bring it up. You tell me what you think about this in the comments below.